I get it, you want to lose weight as fast as you can, but you don't want to fall for this trap, because if you do, you're going to get the opposite of what you want. Welcome back, Weight Warriors. I'm Mike. I'm a fat guy who's trying to not be fat anymore by making lifestyle changes. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how fast you should lose weight, or really the comparison of going fast or going slow. And the appeal to go as fast as you can sounds really great, but really that comes in a lot of form of crash diets or things that aren't going to be sustainable, and you're more likely to regain the weight after. We've all heard of crash diets, right? Those extreme diets that promise rapid weight loss in a short amount of time. But what exactly defines a crash diet? Well, I personally would characterize it by some severe restriction in your diet when, again, you're aiming to get those lightning fast results. I'm talking about when people try to have more than like 1,000 calorie deficit per day, or eat around 1,000 calories per day, which is pretty crazy. And they're trying to lose like 2 to 5 to 10 pounds per week or something insane. Now I get it. Again, that sounds great. You want to lose weight as fast as possible, but is that all we're losing when we do those crash diets? Now let's talk about the downsides of crash dieting. Again, while it may seem tempting to lose that weight as quickly as possible, it can take its toll on your physical and mental health. Crash dieting often leads to a nutrient deficiency in some form or another. It also really slows down your metabolism far more than you need to when you're trying to lose weight, and it can negatively impact your emotional well-being. And here's one of the biggest problems. Spoiler alert, it's not all fat that you're losing. In fact, you risk muscle loss when you get those instant results. Ideally, actually, if you're trying to get those instant results, is water weight, but unfortunately, more likely if you're doing this over an extended period of time, you're losing muscle more than you're losing just fat. And it's not just about that number on the scale, it's really about fat percentage, or at least that's what I'm looking at. I would rather have a lower fat percentage, even if my weight stays the same. Because again, for reference, Chris Bumstead and I almost have the same height and weight, but two very different physiques. Now, let's focus on a better approach when it comes to weight loss. Really, this is the slow and steady idea that wins the race. Taking the time to achieve your goals has numerous benefits. It can set you up for long-term success and allows for better body composition changes and improvements to your overall well-being. There is absolutely no need for 1,000 calorie deficit, or especially if you're just starting out going really hard and trying to cut down to like 1,200 or 1,600 calories. That's crazy. Start with a moderate, easily attainable 300 to 500 calorie deficit per day from your maintenance. And here's why. Think about it like this. And in fact, you might want to write this down. The slower you lose the fat, the more likely you will keep it off. Let me say that again. The slower you lose the fat, the more likely that you'll keep it off. And more than just that, you're far more likely to actually keep a 500 calorie deficit diet going. You're also more likely to retain muscle mass, or in some cases, maybe even build muscle mass when you're in deficit, and you are more likely to not feel restricted while you're on this weight loss journey over this extended period of time. You see where I'm going with this? Again, everybody's going to be a little bit different when it comes to some adaptation, but for the most part, you're more likely to have a good time if you have a moderate calorie deficit rather than an extreme calorie deficit or an extreme restriction or an extreme fad diet. You are more likely to have success if you keep things in balance. Building sustainable habits is key to achieving lasting weight loss, or at least success in this weight loss journey. And again, I'll give you some practical tips that hopefully will help you so you don't have this idea of gotta lose it as fast as I can. Hopefully you understand that these lifestyle changes are going to be what makes the difference when it comes to long-lasting effects. But again, here are my practical tips. Tip number 1 is focused on a balanced nutrition rich in whole foods and trying to keep your calorie deficit moderate while your protein intake is high. Number 2 is regular physical activity is very helpful, especially finding activities that you enjoy that'll keep you motivated, and prioritize things like resistance training if you can. Don't go out and do sprints or cardio if that's not your thing, but really do what you can to try to maintain muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit. And again, you can do cardio if that's something you want to do and complement your calorie deficit, but don't have that as your sole purpose or your sole physical activity of just going for runs. And then number 3 is try to de-stress as much as you can, or increase your stress management to improve your recovery and increase your sleep. Because sleep, recovery, and keeping your stress down is all a big component to this weight loss journey and having success. Because for most of us, we binge eat or we stress eat, and so if you can keep those down to a minimum, it'll be helpful for you. And tip number 4 is to like and subscribe to Weight Warriors. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, obviously we're going to be putting out content that'll be helping you. Also, we have a Facebook group of guys who are trying to lose weight together, so you can join that and get some accountability if that's your thing. So I highly recommend you implement those tips that I just said, because it's really time that we shift our mindset away from quick fixes and to long-term lifestyle changes. Instead of focusing solely on the short-term results, let's prioritize our health and well-being by adopting sustainable habits that we can actually maintain for the long run. And bringing this back to crash dieting, and again, fast versus slow weight loss, The problem with, again, crash dieting is it makes all these quick promises. This is the magic pill. This is the thing that's going to get it done for you. But that's a dark and risky road to go down because it's not going to get you what you want. Remember, slow and steady wins the race when it comes to weight loss. And unfortunately, a lot of things in life for those of us who are not very good at patience. But if you prioritize your health and well-being over the long run, embracing these sustainable strategies will really get you where you want to be, again, for that long-term success when it comes to your weight management.